Hi guys, lankyspirit from Weiss Schwarz UK here, and welcome to our comeback campaign. That's right, we're hopefully going to be returning to regular content again. So I want to apologise for the long gap first. It's been quite a while since our last video and I'm sorry, but a lot of stuff has happened. So to cut a long story short, I now live in Japan, which makes it a little harder to collaborate with Alan to make videos. But that's not going to stop us. So a lot of the content now is going to be me on my own, but doing some old stuff like TD analysis like this video, or some new things that I've got planned. And whenever it's possible, I'm going to bring Alan in, so maybe we'll play some games over Skype. Whenever I go home, we'll try and film some stuff. So yeah, we're coming back in full force. We've got a new website and everything. But onto this video. So as you can probably tell from the title, we're talking Puyo today, Puyo Puyo, the latest TD to come out as of me filming this. It's great, that's why I really wanted to get back onto the horse, as they say, and talk about WUS, all thanks to this TD. So the booster is no longer the latest booster. Schoolgirl Strikers has come out since. But, you know, I didn't want that to stop me from talking about how much I love this trial deck. So let's get rid of the outer packaging. We don't need none of that. First, we need to get the cock sleeve off. Oh, or maybe not. Or did we win? Oh, nope, no win. Never mind. Right, now we can try and get the cock sleeve off. Wow, that's really on there. Bam. Okay. So, our cover card, our delicious foil, is an Amity Slayer. It's not just a Slayer though, because that wasn't enough for a TD. When it comes in, top check, back on top or in the bin. It's so good, I play it in my actual deck. And you get two of those. The other one might be a sign, so here's hoping. Okay, so we got a bit of Lulu. She buffs level 1 Satan in the deck. Just some vanillas. Said Satan, very cute little Satan. Some Shezo Vanillas, Suketo Dara, the Fishman. This is really good. It just gets really big and he only costs one. Like, you can't argue with that in a TD. We have Waiting Room Soul. Nice little Waiting Room Soul. Help keep that stock up. Gugot. 500 generic booster in front, pay 2 when he comes into salvage. Just increases that consistency, which this deck really is. It's got a lot of nice things in it. Shig, sadly you only get one of this, but he's pretty cool. When he dies he might turn into stock. Riddell or Rider, it's translated differently in different places. Pay 1, discard, have a search. So yeah, you can see it's starting to form. You're getting a lot more consistency. Some Raffine vanillas. Yeah, Klug, man. Not only do I love Klug's character, but this effect is really cool. He combos with a gate. That's right. You get 4 copies of gate in this, and he's just awesome. He's just so awesome. 2 copies is not enough. Some vanillas there. Nice little blanket boost in Arcor Sensei. This, oh man, this. So this is a reprint of my favourite event in the entirety of WUS up to this point. Yes, it's exactly the same as a card from Zero no Sakaimat ZNT, which was my main deck for a very long time. When you play it, get a salvage, mill 3. Was there a climax in there? Have a cheeky salvage, you know, 2 salvages for 1, running through some deck. Oh, I'll spaff about it later. It's just amazing. Oh, at this point I want to mention as well, because this card is so good, the entire TD is TD only, which means 2 copies of this for me was not enough, so I had to buy 2 TDs. We have our 4 copies of Gate, followed by 4 heals. That's right, we get some Carbunkaroo heals, and when he comes in he gets big as well. So, you know, this trial deck is just generous. Some 2/1 3k counters for Witch. This is a level boost, so not only do we have a blanket boost, we also have a level boost, which comes with a nice extra effect for giving out soul. And our last card is our second copy of Amity. And you know what that means, folks? That means there was no foil, there was no cyan for me today, with a loss on the on the gold-silver campaign. It means pretty standard stuff. But hey, the foil's nice. There's some cool things in there. So it's not all bad. Now, the format of the videos is changing a little bit, just a little bit. We're going to cut out the layout section because it takes forever to edit and it's quite time consuming for just a little thing. So instead, I'm going to talk about the numbers in the actual analysis part. So from here, we go straight back to me again to look at the cards in more detail. So, before I get started, first I want to say, look at the shiny new layout. And secondly, I want to point out that a lot of the art from this trial deck is from the 20th anniversary game. That's not the most recent Puyo game, but it's still got really nice art in, and yeah, it really shows on the cards. They look really nice. So without further ado, we'll start with Lulu. So Lulu, as we can see here, is a generic booster that gives a specific card, Satan, 1000 extra power. So it's better than your normal generic boost. Most of the time that's what it's going to be doing, but I'll talk about her a bit more when we get to Satan, because it really makes him quite a good encorer. But yes, 2 copies, it's not bad. It turns up when it needs to. You have 2 copies of a later card that make up your 4 generic boosters for the trial deck. So yeah, 2's alright. It's pretty good. Oh, another thing is, pretty much everything in this set has Puyo, which is the trait that everything cares about, and then something. So in this case, we've got love, but like the second trait just does not matter. It's not used. It's still cool though. Next we have for Draco is Kentaurus. Vanilla's. What does it say about Vanilla? We'll move on. And here's Satan, as I mentioned before, cute little Satan. So he gets 1000 power if you've got 2 other Puyos, and he's got a character encore. You get 2 of him, which is it's about what you pay for play with your encorers these days. And with the generic boost sat behind him, just the one, he goes what, 5, 6, 7k? The 7k character encore ready TD. That's pretty good. You know, everybody needs encore. So you know. He's got a decent power base. He's free, you know. He's free. Man, some sets have got to pay 1 to get that sort of thing, so you know it's pretty good. If you somehow searched or god drew or the second copy, you know he's an 8/5 if he's sat in the centre. That's pretty big. He's gonna really do some work. So yeah, I quite like Satan. He's pretty good. Although I must say, in the games I've tested with this trial deck, he didn't turn up too much, and you didn't need to. I never felt the need to search for him, because there's just I want Klug, which I'll get to in a minute. He's the target, you know. Satan's just sort of this side note to keep your guys so you can generate some stock for later on. Not that you need to save much stock. This deck doesn't spend all that much. But anyway, we'll move on to Shezo. With 2 copies, he's just a generic vanilla with his best catchphrase ever, "I want you." Oh. Then we have the Witch counter, so it's just a generic 3k counter. This was the counter they decided for this TD. Trial decks usually only get 1 counter at level 1 or at level 2. So we got level 2. I much prefer this, especially in this trial deck, because your better cards are later on, you know. So then we have the Arl level boost, which has pay 1, rest this, give 1 Puyo character a soul, and then something with the same name a soul. So you know this plays into that whole TD mentality of let's put in crap loads of copies of vanillas and things like that. It's like, get some use out of them then. Just have 2 extra soul for the cost of 1 and a rest, and off they go to side for 1, or put some extra damage in where I need it. good stuff. It's good stuff. Then we have Suketodara, the Alaskan Pollock. He's brilliant. Just when another Puyo attacks, he gains a grand. Base 8k. So, you know, he swings for 10 plus. If you've got the blanket booster out, if you've got the level booster out, he's 11, 12, you know. He gets big. He deals with a lot of things. People get scared when they see this little fish coming. I'll tell you that. And, you know, again, like some sets, so like especially smaller ones, like say Psychopaths, this is their level 2 game. And there you go, just have it in the trial deck, you know. So yeah, it's a solid card. Solid card. This guy did a lot of work for me. I'd always hold on to one of these, and then, you know, he'd do some real damage. So yeah, he's a good guy. Carbuncuru. You get four copies of this bad boy. Oh, by the way, you get 4 copies of fish. Did I forget to mention that? So yeah, back to Carbuncel. You get 4 copies of this. He has heal, and when you play him, he gets 500 times every Puyo character, and that includes himself. So he comes in as a 12/5, plus all your fancy boosts, and you get your heal to stay alive, and you just swing in. It's nice, it's good. There's 4. Everybody loves to heal. Anti-heal's not so much of a thing these days, so he's not really going to have much in his way. And yeah, good, solid, like the rest of this. TD. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention is his secondary trait is mystery. And he's a yellow rabbit. So whenever I see him, I just think of Woozer. Whenever I look at this card, I just think of Woozer. And then the climax for yellow, 4 copies of Waiting Room Soul. So get that yellow card out of the waiting room, put it to stock, you know, get that compression up, etc., etc. Now we're on to red cards. Sorry. So we start with Gagot. He is a generic boost with pay 2, salvage a Puyo character. So this is the other 2 copies to go with Lulu to make your 4 generic boosters at 0. And the salvage is just great. You've usually got 2, especially if Sig's gone off. Again, I'll come to him in a bit. So you just plop him down, salvage your Klug, your Satan, another backboarder, whatever you counter, whatever you really need at that time. He's brilliant, yeah. It also gives him relevance later on in the game. So when you've got better backboarder, or you've already got a generic boost and something else, you can just slam him up front, pay 2, get something better back. You know, so good. It really helps build the consistency of this deck. I found it was very, very consistent because there's also a search, and there's that salvage, and you've got gates, and you just sort of gravitate cards to your hand very nicely with this trial deck. So yeah. Onto the star of the deck, the cover card, second to none energy, Amity. I love Amity's secondary trait, Hat. She has such a great personality that they chose her second trait to be Hat. But yeah, she's a level 0 Slayer, a very nice foil, and when she comes into play, check the top card. You can put it back on top, or you can put it in the bin. So this is brilliant at any point in the game. You can see, okay, do I want this trigger? Yes, no. Do I want to trigger this climax? Yes, no. When you do see it and you decide to keep it, you know what it is. So maybe you can do a side for 1 that you wouldn't normally have tried, or, you know, it just gives you a lot more control over your turn. And if you're trying to run through the deck because you're low on climaxes, it's just a great way to get rid of 1 more card. Yeah, really good. As I've said before, I am playing this in the main deck as a 2-of, just because it's that nice. It really is that nice. Okay, and then the 1-of for red, the Sig. So this guy, when he goes to reverse, you reveal the top card. If it's level 1 or higher, you can put him to stock. You know, and then the usual things, climaxes count as 0, return the reveal card to its original position. So He has low power. He does have very low power, which means he's not going to be killing a lot. That's the kind of power you usually see on a Slayer. In fact, that's the amount of power the Amity Slayer has. But that's really not what he's for. You send him in, you get a direct, or if they've played something that's weak up front, they've had to attack with a concentrate or something, maybe you can kill that. But it's all about the swing back. So he dies, you reveal that top, and then in a TD, admittedly, it's not likely that it's going to be, you know, because there's a lot of zeros with it being a TD. A lot of zeros, the climaxes also count as 0. But it says card, so your events will trigger him to go to stock. And when he does, he's just really nice, because you've suddenly generated 2 stock on your second turn with only attacking with 1 guy. You can salvage something, you know. You can use it to get you out of sticky situations. If you, for some reason, don't have a 0 the next turn, you know, which I never had happen, but, you know, maybe it does. You don't feel so bad because you've gained 2 stock. So it's like, okay, I'm not really... The only way I'm behind is I haven't done the damage to my opponent. So I quite like him, but he doesn't fit for me outside of the TD. There's so much good stuff in the actual set that 0 is quite a heavily contested thing. I mean, you have a runner, a Ricky, quite a handful of concentrators, you know, a couple of good slayers, and you know, all this comes together to mean that poor Sig just doesn't fit anywhere. But he's a nice card. I enjoy playing him, and I will endeavour to find a way to use him some more outside of the TD. Next we have Riddle, however you want to pronounce her. She's just your generic pay 1 discard a card, search for a Puyo. You know, say 2/5 usual amount of power, solid card. Again, you're using this to search Klugs, you're using this to get stuff you need. Yeah, it's just brilliant. If you seek to last turn, you'll still be on 1 stock, even though you've attacked with 1. You know, if you're playing it on your second turn, it's all good. It's all good. Adds to the consistency, really does. Next, we just got your Raffine vanillas, because, you know, not all the cards can be good and have effects. And then we come on to the star. Oh, yes. Okay, we put the event aside, because that's essentially a reprint. So this is, of all the new stuff, this is my favourite card. I love this card. He's brilliant, right? He's got such an irritating effect for your opponent. It's amazing. So, on attack, if the gate's in play, you can pay 1. Choose one of your opponent's level 0 or lower characters, send it to the bin, and then he gains 2,000 power. So he becomes an 8k before your backborder buffs with the pay 1, and you get to kill something on the back that is most likely buffing the card that you're attacking. But not only that, you could target concentrators. Like I've played this TD against more powerful, you know, not non-TD decks, proper decks. And when you go, okay, I'm going to kill your concentrator, they sometimes people just don't know what to do. They're just like, I already discarded my extra copies of my concentrator, or they're gone, or I've got to go and find another one now. You know, it's like they're not going to pay 3 at that early in the game to save their encore, unless they've generated a lot of stock already, or they're absolutely desperate to keep that thing around. So it's just really good. And your opponent then, who's been sat there with, you know, their specific backborder game that they've been slowly building up in their hand over time, with their Kaze combos and their searches and their Ricky clones and, you know, whatever else they've been using to set up their roadmap for their deck, and you just completely bugger it over by saying, nah, that's gone. And I mean, like, to think about other sets recently, like Cinderella Girls. Cinderella Girls has the Anya blanket boost with when you use a startup 500. Now, speaking from me personally, I play 3 copies of that or something, and once I've got one, I just get rid of the rest. I don't hold on to them. So if a Klug was to turn up and send it away, or even worse, maybe Marina concentrate brainstorm, I'd be fucked. I'd be like, okay, I'm in trouble now. Oh well, I better go find another one. So yeah, I just really like him. And then the buff as well, so he kills whatever he's fighting. You know, if you play 2, they've got to have very good back border for you to trigger it twice, or you have to have generated a lot of stock. Because if you go down 2 stock early on and they swing back and your Klugs die because they're only 5/5s or something like that, and you don't have a Satan out to carry on generating stock, you start to lose cards very quickly. So you've got to manage him. You've got to manage him. But if you can afford the 2 and you hit 2 decent targets, you know, and the Klugs kill their guys, it's a great feeling. Not only is it a great feeling, but your opponent is often stumped at where to go from there. So yeah. The only one thing I want more, I don't want to spend much more on him, but one last point is his major weakness are decks that have level 1 back border, because they very quickly replace their concentrators or whatever crap they've got sat in the back with this level 1 that you cannot target with this effect. But he's still great, and I am currently trialling out 4 copies of this and 4 copies of the Gate in my main deck, and so far so good, I must say. So far so good. So anyway, you get 2 copies of that, so yeah, you need 4. You really need 4. You can still find your 2 quite easily, as I mentioned before, with the search and the salvage and things like that, but yeah, you definitely need 4 to make it reliable enough that you're doing it early every game. But yeah, brilliant card, brilliant card. And after that, we just get a Taru vanilla. He's got Kyojin, Giant, as his secondary effect. That's pretty cool. Then we come against Accord Sensei. She's a blanket boost. All your other guys gain 1000 power. So yeah, once you hit level 2, your guys get pretty big. You've got your blanket boost, you've got your level boost, you know, you got your fish. Your fish sat in the middle or sat into the side again in front of the level boost, you know, and there you go, he's gaining 2k, your other guy's attack, he gains 2k, he's suddenly a 12k. If you played the Gate, he's 13. Like, you can force your opponent's early plays, like, oh, I've got to counter this now, you know, it's like you can really, unless it's like Kambaru from the new Monogatari or something, you know, you can force them into some sticky situations just with your little 2/1 fish. So yeah, it's really good. You get 2 copies of it, so it pairs nicely with the one of the level boost. Yeah, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And then we move on to the events that I love so much. So you can really get a lot of mileage out of this card. Sorry, I need Yayoi to serve me some tea. Okay, so yeah, you can get a lot of mileage out of this card. Pro number 1, it costs 1. Pro number 2, you get at least 1 salvage no matter what. Pro number 3, you can time it in a way where your odds are very high to hit a climax, or to get the second salvage, or it will get rid of 3 cards that if you're running out of climaxes, it's 3 cards out of the deck. There you go. And then, okay, if you hit a climax, maybe that's not optimal at that time, but then you just get 2 guys and you're just like, boom, off we go. So yeah, it's really, really good. And the thing I like about this in the main set is the same thing I liked about the ZNT, is you can use it to get yourself into early play ranges. So for example, if your early play needs 5 or fewer cards, if your early play needs X amount of climaxes in the bin, if your early play or moreover, not so much this set but ZNT again, if you have free fresh, you can mill towards the free fresh. It's just a really flexible event, and you get so much out of it for that single stock. It's just amazing, and I could sing its praises for hours. But I'm not I'm just going to point out that you get 2 copies of this. It's hella good. Please play it if you're playing Puyo. Please, please, please. My personal recommendation is 3. 3 copies is very nice of the card, of this sort of card. Okay, and then we have the gate. That nice little plug art there. And that brings us to the end of the TD. So, my overall thoughts. Yeah, what haven't I said? It's just great. It's really good. It gets the job done, you know. You got your searches, your salvages. You've got a decent, costless Encorer. You've got a nice little 1-0 combo that lets you kill the backboarder. You've got a 2-1 fish that gets really big, 4 heals, 2 blanket boosts, a level boost. There's just so much, so many staple effects, so many nice things crammed into this little 50 card deck. You've got a Slayer, for God's sake, you know, with a nice secondary effect. It's just great. It's just brilliant. And, you know, it's been 25 years of Puyo this year. So I don't know if that's the reason the set was delayed until now, and that's why they've done the set, or if it means that maybe there's going to be something in the future, considering a lot of the art from this TD. I'm not so sure about the set, is from the 20th anniversary game. Then maybe, you know, maybe we'll get another set, maybe. We can only hope. We'll get an EB or another set for the 25th anniversary. That'd be really cool. I really like that. So again, I want to apologise for the lack of content. It's been very bad of us. I'm really sorry. I know you guys have been after stuff for us for a while, and I hope you come back. Please come back. We've got information we want to share. We want to tell you everything. When I come back, we want to talk about cards, because that's my life, talking about cards. I live, eat, breathe cards. I have about 4 or 5 decks and 3 booster boxes in arm's reach as we speak. So yes, when I'm planning to do more than just TD analysis now. I got some box openings coming up. I opened my Puyo, 4 boxes of Puyo and 4 boxes of Monogatari on video that I'll hopefully put up. It's before I had my haircut. It was done some time ago because I couldn't wait to open the boxes when they arrived. So I just recorded it. It might be a little messy, so I apologise in advance for that. But yeah, I want to do deck techs. I want to talk about things that I've built since I've moved to Japan, because there's singles everywhere. Cards are so easily accessible. I can find things for really low costs and stuff that I thought I'd never see or ever own. So I build really random things. I tend to buy cards and build a set, build a deck for every set, because I just buy the 20 yen, like the gimmicks and things, and then just build a side deck and just be like, yeah, that's cool. I've got a deck for this. You know, it's just really nice. So if you guys want to see me build a deck, or you got any suggestions, anything cool you want me to try out, or any challenges even, say, I bet you can't build a standard deck or a Neo standard deck around this card, you know, I'll give it a go. Hell, I love building decks, so yeah, throw that my way. We've also launched a new website, so we now have lankyspirit.com, narcissism not intended, where it's mainly going to be me posting on there. Just the WUS news. I'll put my first impressions, maybe some other deck tech stuff on there. I'll also be doing other card games on there, like I'll talk about Gene Cross, the new mobile game, to sort of replace 5 Cross. Maybe a bit of Chaos. Look and Logic is now out, so learning to play that. So yeah, it's all coming back. We're all swinging in full force, as I've said, back into the community. So thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure to start creating videos again. One final note, I guess, on Puyo. It's a brilliant TD. If you love the series, definitely, like the game series, definitely give it a go. And if you don't, it's a really good TD. It's fun. and it's one that's really nice to start out with. So, on that note, I'll see you all next time. Ta-ra!